So yeah, it's we all want to get there. We want to get there as quickly as possible, but we need to get there in the right manner, basically.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because it is not moving fast. Isn't directly equal to delivering value fast.
Yeah, 100%. You can be moving very fast in the wrong direction, can't you? So
100%. Some great Gandhi quotes around
I believe that was
around direction. Yeah. Although he didn't use Jira, mysteriously he still managed to make it land. So
think what he could have achieved. Yeah.
One thing that every agency and client can do to ensure that projects stay on track and don't go off the rails. And you can't say scope.
I thought that's immediately going to say, stop asking for changes.
So, welcome back to the fourth episode in our podcast. Joined again by my colleague James, who's come back for a second time. So, I can't have done too badly. It can't have been too unpleasant.
Oh, thank you for having me back.
So, last time, obviously, we were talking about ops. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about one of those things that is super important, I think, in the agency experience and the product experience, which is about pace, how to stay fast, deliver rapidly without falling apart. Because I think, let's face it, like no one has ever turned around to us and said, chill out, take your time, no need to rush. Everyone wants speed, everyone wants rapid delivery, which is quite right. It's important, right, to get to market, start generating value, whether you're building a product to make money or product to save money and drive efficiency. Yeah. You want to get the value back as quickly as possible. You want contact with end users to make sure that what you're building is going to land in that kind of lean feedback loop piece as well. Yeah. But pace delivers challenges, right?
Yes, indeed.
So I guess maybe kicking off for first question is when people start trying to deliver fast, what usually goes wrong?
Well, I think, one of the biggest challenges about delivering fast is finding a way to do it without sort of sacrificing quality.
Yeah.
And, we get quality through clearly defined scope, through people understanding their roles and responsibilities, through clear processes, etc. And often, those things are the first thing to be sacrificed if you're moving too quickly. So it's really just maintaining a sort of awareness across the team, around the importance of, adhering to our processes, making sure the communication channels are working effectively and open. And ensuring that, the workflows that we've got in place are being followed as well. That said, we need to be adaptable. Sometimes we need to move very, very quickly, and we can look at how we can sort of move the dial a little bit, sometimes with a process, potentially sometimes with an approach to a particular project, but always maintaining that focus on quality. And I think that's the biggest challenge, when you're working in an agency, as such speed.
Yeah, 100%. And we talk quite a lot, don't we, about the fact that quality is ultimately defined by the customer.
Yeah, 100%.
It's about how well it functions and fits and hits their goals, right? Therefore, if they're defining quality, it can mean different things, as you say.
Yeah.
Different case. It might be the pace, it might be the product or the fit or whatever it is. Have you ever seen situations whereby the drive to speed is maybe helping mask over other issues inside a project?
Yeah, I think it can be quite common. On all projects, you want to get deliverables to clients. On the operational side of things, we need to make sure that, that drive to get the deliverables, isn't sacrificing, the integrity or the quality of the product. Yeah. So it's having the right, guardrails in place. I think we'd spoken about tolerances previously, making sure that, the quality assurance is of the highest standard. And just making sure that the team are aligned and people, the communication channels again are open and people are raising any issues that they're seeing that might affect quality. Yeah. It's, we all want to get there. We want to get there as quickly as possible, but we need to get there in the right manner, basically.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because it is not moving fast. Isn't directly equal to delivering value fast.
Yeah, 100%. You can be moving very fast in the wrong direction, can't you? So,
yes.
Making sure that we've got that alignment across the team. And I think it's another area where, scope comes in and clarity, which I think we've spoken about previously. If people are interpreting scope, if there isn't that ownership around requirements, then you can go very, very quickly in the wrong direction and really derail a project. So
yeah, 100%. Some great Gandhi quotes around
I believe that was
around
Gandhi.
direction. Yeah. Although he didn't use Jira, mysteriously he still managed to make it land. So
Think what he could have achieved. Yeah.
So what tips or things do we do to try and avoid that confidence trap of feeling like you're moving at pace, but potentially not moving towards value at pace?
Yeah, absolutely. So, having the correct metrics in place, being able to measure progress, we can burn through a lot of work, but have what we actually achieved, I think that's absolutely key. Ensuring that, we have that real emphasis on quality assurance, across the project, and people being empowered to speak up, to raise concerns, whether it's the developer or whether it's even the project manager saying, we feel that this is going in the wrong direction, or we feel that we're not necessarily building the right product here. And I think having those that the team having that confidence to feed back and to raise those concerns and flag it before it becomes a major issue, I think is really, really important.
100%. Yeah, I like the team aspect is really important, right? Because we bring in lots of different specialists from different parts of the business, and I think it's easy for humans to operate in silos.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
actually, what a strategist might be looking at over here versus maybe what a developer's looking at, if they don't communicate them quite quickly, that ability to see the overall value can fall away. Yeah. So the collaboration is so important to make sure.
Absolutely. And I think that's where, I think we spoke previously about, communication plans, both for externally and internally, making sure that we're constantly, aligned. And, we can always do better. It's never perfect. We're always sort of moving towards perfection as much as possible. And just to make sure that, we're getting the right input from the right people at the right time.
Yeah.
Before things, get away from us, I think we're doing a very good job at that at this moment, and we're moving in the right direction.
You said guardrails a minute ago. That's coming back to haunt you now. So, risk management can be huge in different organizations, and obviously in agile, fast-moving organizations, it could also be seen as the enemy of pace in some ways. So what does smart risk management in delivery actually look like in terms of making sure that you're delivering value at pace and maintaining control?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think sort of risk management is, it's a huge, issue across delivery. I think I'll come back to collaboration. I don't think it's very helpful to have one person analysing all the risks on a project. I think it's really important to get multiple voices, and also, schedule that time, make sure that you are putting in the time to do risk management correctly, to get the different opinions for people, because there's obviously something a developer will see that maybe a designer didn't, and there's likewise a project manager may not see something that the developer has. So it's really important to get, multiple voices contributing towards, a risk assessment of a particular project. And also, understanding impact. I think that's absolutely key. Risks will vary in terms of, their importance. And we need to have, a fairly scientific approach in order to, make sure that we are concentrating our efforts, on the right risks, really understanding the impact, of potential risks turning into issues. Really helps projects to move forward effectively.
In terms of delivery, what are some of the kind of the telltale signs or silent killers, if you like, inside delivery that kind of flag that things might be coming?
Yeah, I think I've sort of alluded to it earlier. I think wherever you've got a lot of interpretation, interpreting a requirement, And then if people are then deciding, which way to go, what to do, and there isn't clear ownership, or there isn't a clear designated person to be able to go to get that clarity around the scope or whatever it may be, I think that is a real killer, because those things only really come out, towards the end of a project, or when you get to a deliverable and then the client's coming back and saying, this isn't what we expected, or you're facing problems, that you haven't been able to account for, at the beginning of the project, because people have been doing it in their own way. So I think that move towards standardization, that move, that clarity around ownership, who's the person to go to, who is the person that's responsible for that particular area, I think all contribute towards, keeping the projects on track.
We were chatting the other day, around this, and talking about collaboration and teams coming together. And you said something that was really interesting at the time. You said something along the lines of, one of the telltale potential signs of an issue is when no one speaks up and everyone says that everything's perfect.
Absolutely. I think silence is a massive red flag. If you're having even at a project meeting internally, I think it can often mean that somebody either doesn't really understand, that what's being covered. They may disagree. And, the silence is representing that disagreement with the direction you're moving. So I think that's something I always look out for, as a red flag. We want, as I said, everybody to be involved, everybody to contribute. And, we want everybody to be aligned and to understand what, we're building and what we're, what the plan is moving forward. So I think, silence is, potentially a real silent killer, for projects.
Yeah. And then, and you were also talking at the time around things like missing retros or some of those kind of key rituals throughout the process. Because I guess a large part of delivering value at speed isn't day one. It's not the first sprint. That was easy to deliver at speed, right? It's sprint 30 or 40 or 50 or whatever. Greg had spoken about this enormous cost of technical debt in the UK, trillions of pounds of essentially technical debt kicking around, which is only going to increase as you start to move into some of these vibe coded tools and things like that, where people aren't really spending the time to have some of the governance and compliance that maybe we do, with everything going through multiple levels of PR and separation of concerns and whatever else there. So in terms of maintaining momentum, what would you look at first to make sure that you're in as good a place as you can be at sprint 50 as you are at sprint 1?
I think it's, going back to the earlier point about not allowing sort of the pace of a particular project, to feed into drop-in standards or drop-in process, not sacrificing key things. I mean, you mentioned retrospectives, which are absolutely key in terms of being able to learn from, a previous sprint, previous deliverable, incorporate those learnings, move forward. And I think also, ensuring that we're constantly leveraging our expertise. We've got, extremely talented people here. And, I think, as you said, with vibe coding and these other developments, one thing that we, are very confident about is that, we can leverage our talent to ensure that the quality remains high, and making sure that, the PR process and everything that, feeds into quality assurance is as robust as it can possibly be, basically. Just making sure that, speed, doesn't create too much haste and, making sure that we're focused on quality throughout, basically.
More haste, less speed. And I think the other bit that we talked about was around the agency client relationship and making sure that we've got a view of what might come down the line so that we can position accordingly. Imagine from an operations point of view, that's probably pretty key as well, to know where you might be going as well as just where you are now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, one of the biggest challenges sort of in my role and any operational role of an agency is going to be resourcing, understanding, who you have available, putting the right people on the right projects, making sure that, that you can plan effectively for anything that's coming down, the pipeline. And, making sure again that, the integrity of our processes aren't being sacrificed. We can deliver, the quality that we want to deliver. for any projects, that comes through pipeline. So yeah, it's a challenge, but I like to think we're getting better at it every day in terms of resourcing and the planning of resourcing. And as I said, it's we're very lucky in the sense that we've got six talented people across the board, that can contribute really effectively across a range of products. So that really, really helps.
Nice. And resourcing probably means software a lot of the time, right?
Yes.
Solutions to help it, enable it, and everything else. And so, which is part of the problem. But as we said, software it enables a process; it shouldn't create it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, tooling. How do we make sure that you have the right tools and that you turn them into good habits that create momentum for projects?
Yeah, so obviously with big change management piece that we've rolled out recently, and that stemmed from collaboration, getting people's opinion. There was a large sort of research piece, getting everybody's opinion across the departments as to which tools we think would be, correct for, the way we work, our particular projects. And we decided on that. But I think you're right in the sense that the tools are only there to support the behaviors. And, while they really assist in standardization, scalability, resilience, and they are fantastic help with that, they're only as good as the people using them. And what we're looking for is people to, progress in terms of those standardized behaviors, use the tool as effectively as possible, but also, exploit it as much as we possibly can as well by, having the right people, as well in the organization. So
let's talk about, a little bit about innovation and how we go about knowing when to do the right thing, because there's a lot of judgment, and then certainly for the moment, that comes down to humans until the AIs come and do it. So when is it right? How do you go about deciding when is it right to push for speed? How do we know when you should take a step back, take a breath out to make sure that what you're doing today doesn't compromise tomorrow? What does that process look like?
Yeah, so I think it's a really complex issue. It's every project can be radically different. Every product can be radically different with various different levels of complexity. And again, there are different priorities for the client. I think it is again, it comes back to that understanding of impact. What are the variables which are attached to a particular project? So, is it cost? Is it time? Is it scope? Can those areas be, manipulated? Can we change the focus? Is there an opportunity to de-scope to get things moving? Is there an opportunity to provide more resource, for example, to increase speed? And so it's really understanding the particulars of that particular project and the client need. But also, as I said, really having the communication and feedback loops, because, we rely on the developers and the skilled people in the organization to tell us when potentially something is, requires more detailed, and we should slow down, we should be more considered. And so having those feedback loops in terms of the project structure, absolutely, vital before we sort of move in the wrong direction, or we do something too quickly that isn't as considered as it should be. So there's, various different ways to approach it. But I suppose the key thing is to understand, what can you move? Can you move the dial in terms of scope? Can you move the dial in terms of time? And then also to understand, from the experts, where do we need to be, focusing our attention. The transparency, our project progress with the client, having that, communication piece at the top of any project where, the feedback to the client is regular, is meaningful. They're able to get, they're able to see, the product, see deliverables, be able to interact with the product, be able to feedback, We can correct it. It gives the opportunity to correct course if necessary.
Yeah.
And we're always going to have to deal with changes. I think we spoke about last time. But I think that sort of ensuring that we're on the right, we're on the right pathway is absolutely key. And that client feedback piece is huge for it.
I guess coming back to the piece where there's a commercial event, which means that everything has to compress.
Yeah.
Or we would like everything to try and compress. How do we go about supporting teams, which could be our team and it could be the client's team as well, right?
Yeah,
so this is all one team kind of stuff. But how do we go about trying to support that when everyone's under pressure to be hyper efficient, should we say, to make it happen fast?
Yeah. Well, we'd all very much like to be hyper efficient. It's definitely, the area we're moving towards, hopefully. But I think that, again, coming back to planning and resourcing, this can have a really huge impact on, allowing, the opportunity to concentrate resource on particular projects at particular key moments. We've set up recently the AI working group. So, in the future, we would expect to see some, additional, capacity opportunities through AI. That said, always with the view of maintaining the quality. But we're always looking to see where the opportunities are to be able to, use resources effectively as possible, but also use tooling and use, anything that's at our disposal really to be able to, improve the efficiency of delivery.
Now we're in danger of going into a whole AI spiral.
Yeah, as soon as I said it, I thought this might be another podcast.
It's the 3-hour podcast coming in. We should do that. We'll do that as another one. Although I think I've made promises to do about 5 over the course of the last 2 podcasts. So we're going to jump into the quick fire round.
Okay.
So your questions for today. Your go-to method for course correcting a project under pressure.
Oof. This is quickfire again.
This is the quickfire, the shorter quickfire.
I would say basically being able to understand when an issue is an issue. I think speaking up is really, really important. If anybody has a concern that something is an issue, then they need to be empowered and encouraged to raise that, so that we can make the corrective action as soon as possible. I think,
nice.
So quickfire said that.
That was yes, actually quickfire. And the next one thing that every agency and client can do to ensure that projects stay on track and don't go off the rails. And you can't say scope.
I thought just immediately going to say stop asking for changes. I think, at the beginning of the project, I think really spending the time, and then having those key meetings and those key workshops around the scope, around what is to be delivered, and then getting that understanding, that alignment between how the project is going to work, how the communication is going to work, and how those feedback loops are also going to function as well. I think really the setup is absolutely key, both on the client side and on our side, and I think that's something that we're doing increasingly well here. I think it's been visible in a lot of projects where we've been successful, is that we can trace it back to that successful setup process.
Yeah, building on solid foundations, and we've talked to clients for years around setting up for success and getting your data in shape and making sure that from a technical level it's there, but it's the same from a human's level as well, isn't it?
100%.
Making sure you've got alignment, that you understand inside the organization sponsors and roles and responsibilities and everything else. That's really good. Thank you. Appreciate your time again.
Thanks again.
I feel like we covered a fair bit. So as a recap, in principle, what we were talking about today was how to go about maintaining pace and ensuring that you're delivering value at pace, not just pace without value. So we ran through that. We talked about the importance of people, empowering people, getting the right people in the team as well. We talked about what it looks like to manage risk without creating too much complication. We talked about empowerment and making sure that people can speak up and that they feel ready to do it. We talked about, as we would do if we were in a room together, we talked about AI and we talked about Jira. What else would we do? And then we talked about trying to make sure that both teams are aligned and are working together to deliver value as well. So did I miss anything out?
No, I think that's everything.
Good. Tick. So thank you very much. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming back for round 2.
Pleasure.
And yeah, I'm sure we'll be back and you'll be back on another one shortly.
Can't wait.